Today we're going to be reviewing the Endless Dice Kickstarter by KAKAPOPOTCG. They're actually a huge fan of the show and sent me out 2 sets just as a, hey, take a look at this cool thing that we made. After I saw them, I went onto their website and saw this video here with this awesome golden hand and these golden dice and said, yeah, I'm into this. I like gold. Will you send me some more of them and I'll do a full review video and give some of them away on stream sometime? They said yes, so here is my review. Again, all the sets they sent me for free, so if you think that biases me, I just want that to be upfront in the video. If we look at style alone, they absolutely get top marks. These dice are unique and heavy and metal, and honestly, the price is pretty good for a full set like this. A lot of these super designer dice like these can range anywhere from $90 or $100 plus, and they're not, so I think these are really good for the value, and I think that they are gorgeous looking dice overall. They're a little larger than your average set of 7 RPG dice, and as such, they are way heavier. These are the heaviest dice in this size range that I own. You may notice that they don't have a typical D4, they actually went with a 12-sided D4 design, so it just has the numbers 1 through 4 3 times on the die. I actually think that's a really good idea because of how heavy and durable these things are. If you were to accidentally step on a regular D4 from this, it'd be game over, man. The only designs I don't like are their tens place D10s. For some reason, they just have a worse layout than the rest of them, and as such, their numbers kind of blend in with the rest of the swirly endless part, and that's just not my favorite. The reason that's not my favorite is because all of these look awesome, but unless they have the kind of black undertone like the gold one here on the left does, it's really hard to read them on the table without doing something to them. I'm not going to take many knocks off for those like this gold and I'm calling mithril set back here, because what they're advertised for is to actually be painted. So if that's what they're designed for, let's do that. I had 3 painting ideas going for this kind of rainbow tempered set, this more stone or iron looking set, and the gunmetal set here. I was a little skeptical to see what would work, so I thought I would try the stone or the wrought iron set first, as it looks like, whoops, if you don't drop them, it looks like it would have the most grip to it, or more teeth for the paint to actually stick and hold on to the set. So I figured I would try contrast paints because they're more washes than they are actually paints, and if it can hold contrast paint, it can probably hold pretty much any paints, and we'll kind of talk about that in a minute. As I started putting it on, I was really impressed at how well this held the paint. I wish I hadn't gotten paint down on the inside of the 6 because I had a new idea, which was just taking the Blood Angels red and going over all the top pieces there, leaving the black, more iron look under the bottom. I decided to go for a more blood iron look for this set here, and you can see it holds the paint pretty good. As I was painting this one, I just started going on to the next sides. I didn't really even have to wait for it to dry. I started doing an almost dry brush technique with the contrast paints, which worked really well because it has incredibly raised edges and you can get some nice color on there very quickly. After finishing the D6, I go on to the rest of the set, and after it dries, it has this really awesome looking dried blood effect over this iron, which I was super excited about. They had some professional artists paint these dice on their end and show off what this could possibly look like, and I wanted to mimic one of the ones I saw in there, which looked like an almost fire, so I got out my airbrush and some yellow paint, and I tried to airbrush them on here, but I wasn't getting any connection. I wouldn't blame the dice on this, I would blame more my low quality of airbrush paints, but it's something to consider at least if you're worrying about painting these things. I decided to paint the numbers up with Retributor Armor Gold because I thought that would look like a nice little combination between the two, and it also continues to hold paint even after a first layer is on there of contrast paints. After painting the numbers, I painted a few patterns that I thought looked kind of cool on each die, and it just kind of made this cool random looking set, and I was very pleased with my first attempt at painting these things. They look really great. The only downside I had was the tens place D10 because again, I almost had to freehand them and I'm just not good at that. I wanted to do at least one more set, so I tried to do this mithril set here because it was more metallic, using some metallic acrylic paint to see what I could get and see if there was a difference, and there really was. This is where I started to say, I'm not really sure what's going on, because as I was painting this, you can see the paint just doesn't want to stick to it. It's like actually trying to paint on metal, and I was having a really tough time, so I wanted to try and use the same paint on a different set that's still similarly porous to that stone set that I used before. This one's more of kind of a jungle-y stone looking set, so I nixed the mithril one and tried to use that same blue metallic paint on here. As I was putting it on, it also didn't really adhere very well to this stuff, and so one thing I will say is your quality of paints kind of matters. I would say use something with a high pigment density like Citadel paints, because when I did Stormhost Silver, it went on there just fine. However, the Stormhost Silver and other colors still did not connect to the mithril or more metallic ones. No biggie, I'm just going to go ahead and continue painting this set here. I'm going to use orc flesh almost like an actual wash in between this kind of more gold stone. I'm trying to get a very jungle look on this set. As I put this wash on, I just wipe the excess off the surface with a paper towel. I mostly just want a little bit of green down in the muck of it all, and some to stick in the divots of the higher and more raised surfaces of the gold. By the time I'm done, you'll be able to see here that the difference between regular and without having done the green is night and day. This looks very much like old mossy stone, almost like Minecraft mossy stone. Now that it has that jungle appearance to it, I'm going to go ahead and add some details like old hidden metal with some lead belcher because it looks like old metal. And I'm going to paint the numbers with auric armor gold to look like, you found this artifact out in the jungle. Really happy with this set. Again, not a fan of the D10. However, the set as a whole looks phenomenal and it's really easy to paint. Did I mention how heavy these things are? Why don't we listen to some heavy dice ASMR? All in all, I think it's a great Kickstarter. I think they are very unique sets of dice, and if you're looking for some to paint, they're awesome. However, I would maybe stay away from the metal ones, and I would just get the metal ones to have a metal-looking set of endless dice. Go for the more stony, porous ones if you're going to paint them. Again, though, your mileage may vary from mine, and you may have a way easier time with the metal sets, I'm sure. If they advertise them as that, they are able to do so. I just wasn't able to get them as easily as I would have the others. I probably would have had to do multiple layers of paint like a professional, and that's just not me. Thank you to KAKAPOPOTCG for sending these out to me. Again, if you want to maybe earn some of them, I'm going to be giving away most of them on stream at my Red Wagon Inn D&D stream over at Level Up Dice on Twitch. If you want to learn how to make your own dice from scratch or other tabletop related content, maybe consider subscribing to this channel, or comment below if you like videos like this and want to maybe see more reviews of tabletop products. Let me know. I really find them fun to do, but I don't know if you guys like them or not, so you gotta let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day.